It's 7 p.m., so I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the White Bear Lake Conservation District Board for March 19th, 2019. We have a quorum. That's the first item. Second item, call to order, so we did that. And now we're on to item 3, which is approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. And does anybody have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I do.
Mark?
First change, where it's under multiple dock licenses, City of Matamidi is actually East Shore Dock Association, or ESDA. Would also like to add the Swell Wake Surf Open and McCartney Estates, which was carried over from last month.
And what was the other one? Swell?
Swell Wake Surf Open.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll just give Scott a minute. Okay, so we've had those additions. There are no other additions, so I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes or the agenda.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So that passes. We're on to approval of board meeting minutes. The first one is, we'll just handle them in the order that they're on the agenda. The February 19th, 2019 minutes. Are there any changes necessary to these minutes?
Just got them. I don't know.
Well, we could take a minute.
Lake utilization is correct.
Okay. I don't have any changes. Mike?
I do.
Okay.
Number 9, Lake Quality Committee, down on the bottom. It says bids have been sent out for treatment and survey. In addition, this year we requested a bid to include treatment of Phragmites, which is done in the fall, and the treatment of starry stonewort. Well, hopefully we don't have any starry stonewort. What that starry stonewort was to be included on the bid for the survey. So the bid for Phragmites was on the applicator's bid, which we got back, and the starry stonewort should be on the bid for the survey, which happened, and we got that back.
And Mike, should this be request for bids?
Request for bids, yeah.
Okay, so
So it was a request for bids.
okay, request for bids have been sent out for treatment and survey. In addition, this year, we requested a bid to include treatment of Phragmites, and that has a spelling.
Yep.
Which is done in the fall, and the survey for starry stonewort.
And survey for, yeah, not treatment, but survey.
Okay,
And Phragmites is spelled Phragmites.
Is starry stonewort, is that correct spelling? That was something.
Starry stonewort is correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other items? Okay, so with that change, I'll make a motion to approve the February 19th, 2019 meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. So now we're on to the meeting minutes from the special meeting that we had on January 23rd. Any changes to those minutes? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the January 23rd, 2019 meeting minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, that passes. Thank you. Public comments. We reserve an item on the agenda for public comments on items that aren't on the agenda and from the public. Anybody interested in? Okay, thank you. All right. So we'll move on to new business. I don't have any new business. Does anybody else? Oh, actually, no, I take that back. I do have new business. I'm going to use this time. The Conservation District Board received a thank you from H2O for Life, and I'll have Kim just scan that and send that out so people can see it. And then we also received a postcard, and I'll just read it quickly. Dear Chair DeSmit, please consider strengthening our inclusionary efforts for people with disabilities. I see far too many buildings and businesses not accessible to all. We can take a more proactive approach by expanding inspections, enforcement, grants. Let's build an economy that works for everyone. Kind regards, Cody Olson from Minneapolis. Then I'll have Kim scan that as well. We don't really have any buildings or anything.
It doesn't really apply.
I'm not sure it's applicable to us, but it's a good thing to keep in mind when we're making decisions. Okay, so that's new business. Any other new business? Okay, so we're on to unfinished business, and I don't have any. Okay, anybody else? Mike?
Elections come in?
You know, that's been put under the executive committee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We'll just handle that next. Okay, so we're going to move on to item 8, which is report and action items. And under the executive committee, we have the receiving of nominations and a final vote tonight for the board chair, vice chair, and secretary treasurer. So that nomination process is still open. It's been open since our last meeting. And Kim or Alan, did either of you receive any nominations?
Nope, not any, just the one that Mike had at the meeting from
Okay.
last time.
Yeah, nothing privately to me.
Okay. So, so I'm going to call, so the current nominees are me for chair, Mark Gans for vice chair, and Diane Longville for treasurer. So I'm going to call for additional nominations. Are there any additional nominations? Okay, I'll ask again, are there any additional nominations? Okay, and I'll ask a third time, are there any additional nominations? Okay, so seeing none, I'm going to close the nomination process. And so we have to vote, and that's
Move the slate, yep. We have a slate of candidates.
Yep.
There isn't really an election per se or a vote off, so
Okay.
you would just ask for a motion to move the slate of candidates into
So-
those positions.
Okay, so I will ask for a motion to move the slate of candidates.
Second.
Okay, so I asked, I didn't make it, so we need a first.
I will make a motion of unanimous approval of the slate of candidates.
Okay, we have a motion
I'll second it.
and a second. Thank you, Susie. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Thank you all. I appreciate that. And that's it for the Executive Committee. So we're on to Lake Quality Committee. Mike?
Lake Quality, I passed out in front of you is the Blue Water Science bid for the lake survey for weeds, for Eurasian water milfoil, and anything else we might find out there. We are budgeted for $3,100, and I asked, and I mentioned at the meeting prior, that we also have potential new invasive starry stonewort. And in talking with Steve McComas, he said, well, the place to start with that would be at the boat launches, that we don't necessarily, but the only place we don't look for Eurasian water milfoil. And then he added $200 to it to do the two axes, Manitou axis and Ramsey Beach axis, and I mentioned to him also that the VFW, that ramp is open to people who keep their boat in the marinas, and we'll check that also. So in those areas that are not normally checked for milfoil, we will check for starry stonewort. Now, when we're checking for milfoil all over the lake, and we checked about 390-some spots last year, if we would have found starry stonewort, then that would have also been. So we are covering the lake with it, but it's just this additional area around the boat launches where, in his experience, is the first place it starts. And if it is in the lake, you'll find it there along with others. So if you find it there, then you're going to have to look some more, but we're hoping we won't. If we do, we'll find very little and treat it immediately. So that puts it at $3,300, which is obviously $200 over budget. So if there's any questions on the bid before I make a motion, I would hopefully be able to answer them, or how we do the survey or anything. Okay, we'll try to do it as early as possible. We did it in June last year, early June, which was earlier than usual, and we were able to go deeper than we normally look. In other words, it used to be when we have an area that will obviously become a nuisance, we treat it, and if it's a fair ways down, we don't necessarily treat it. We've kind of changed tactics with some lobbying by the sailors, and also just maybe common sense with talking with other lakes and that kind of stuff, and talking with other applicators, that if you can treat it earlier, you're going to have to treat it deeper. And there was a little bit of a change of heart by the DNR, saying that you can now treat to the maximum of what the packaging of the product says you can treat. He was actually had, they were approving a little bit lower rate, and finally he said, well, if they say you can treat it at this rate, and that's the maximum rate that the packaging says this is what maximum rate you can treat it at, then you can go to that. So that's what we did. And we had good results, and so we're going to go back and do that, basically the same thing again this year. We're going to go survey early, we're going to treat deeper, and we're going to use what the manufacturer of the product say on their packaging is the proper dosage. So, any questions? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the quote from Blue Water Science for a total lake survey for $3,300. $3,100 from the budget and $200 from the general fund.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Blue Water Science quote. Any discussion?
There was some
Susie?
discussion a year ago about doing it early and then maybe going back again if there was the same problem that we had 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Are we still thinking that we're going to do that, or is that kind of off the table now?
Well, the higher dosage on the deeper application seemed to do the job.
So it wouldn't be a
And
problem?
we did not, well, he surveys it at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 2 surveys, but there's not a third in the middle to see how it's doing.
Okay.
The application goes on. It generally takes about 2 weeks. Then, it depends on the weather. If it's cold and that, it's not going to grow a lot, if it's not sunny and that, but depends on the weather if it's hot and sunny. And usually, McComas waits an additional 2 to 3, at least 2 to 3 weeks more, because if 2 weeks is the optimum, now it should be down, it should be really down. Then he gives it another 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month, before he goes back and surveys to give it a chance if it's going to start to regrow, if it wasn't a good treatment, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Now, we typically don't treat after August, the first part of August, because it's just, it's end of the season, really. Not for a lot of people, but for most of the public usage. So we're not looking at doing I guess I have to call it a third survey. We're hoping that,
That'll be it.
So when we go back out now and go to the spots that we treated, and we used 3 different types of applications last year to see how they worked. And they all seem to work some better than others. Now we'll go back this spring or early June and really see how each product worked. What are the conditions of that?
Okay.
And so with that knowledge, that will tell us what products we should really use this year.
And then we don't survey till the end of the year.
Right, so the survey will be in June, and the next one will be in late July, August. But now if there's, places that become really bad and people report it to the district, which has happened in that, then, yeah, we'll jump on it right away.
Okay.
Because there is from the applicator, there is an assurance that what they put down will work.
Okay.
In the spots where they put it.
Right. So it's kind of like, well, how good do they work? Well, if they don't work very good at all, they come right out and retreat it, and that has happened. So, and it all depends. It depends a lot on the kind of day when they're going to treat. They want to have a nice sunny day where it's calm. They don't always have that pleasure. Sometimes it's kind of windy, but they use these. It goes in a tube down in, and we're treating it at 8 feet now, 8 feet and less, whatever the bottom whatever the bottom is. And it's in the water column. So if it's windy on top, it makes a little bit of difference because it drifts and it could drift around. But if it's really calm, then that's a good application.
Okay.
So a lot of things in play.
Okay.
So if it becomes an issue, we can vote to have another survey.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Okay. Next thing is the applicator's bid, and that's in your package of information. There's a Beth Ahlgren, and then the second page is actually their bid for it. Now, I'm not going to ask for approval on this tonight because I'm not sure what the products are that we're going to use. But I probably next month will just ask for approval that we use this bid sheet, basically. But I don't know how it'll be divided up, but then we are restricted by a budget, so. And we'll try to use, it depends on how many acres that we survey that need to be treated. So it's the same bid as last year, except for one product they dropped off, which was called Depth Charge. I really like that name, and then they added this Procelia Core EC, and that is put on at an average depth of 8 feet, but it's supposed to last for 3 years. So it's tempting to try it, even though it's 3 times the cost of what we did use a lot of last year, liquid triclopyr. So liquid triclopyr was $576 an acre, and this Procella is $1,429 an acre. So I don't know. That's why I want to talk to our limnologist, Steve McComas, about this particular product and survey a few other places and kind of go online and see where it's been used. And it's kind of new. Just kind of find out about it before we commit to anything. Right now, the first thing is the survey, and we're set to go on that. Well, that's it for now.
So a question, Mike, just to make sure I understand. So we have these quotes from Lake Management.
Right.
For these various products.
Right.
And the idea is that you're going to do a little more, have a little more discussion with Steve McComas.
Right.
And then you'll go out and you'll do the initial survey.
Right.
And you'll find out or determine what worked well last year and what didn't work as well.
Right.
And at that point, then, between you and Steve and the applicator, you'll make a decision to use, product A here and product B there, something like that?
Yes, actually, it's more me and McComas
Okay,
and the budget.
got it.
Three of us.
Okay, very good.
Is there a control guarantee for any of the other products?
They're all supposed to have a control guarantee.
Just not 3 years?
Yeah, because if you notice, it says underneath the new one, 3-year control guarantee for areas greater than 10 acres. Lake Management recommends AquaStrike or this one that they mentioned, Procelicor. So, and the others have always had that guarantee. So,
Okay, any other questions for Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike. Lake Utilization Committee, Mark?
Chair and Board, we had several things. I'll just go down the agenda and start right away. The first was White Bear Yacht, and just to let everyone know, there's 2 main regattas that go out there on a weekly basis, and it's White Bear Yacht Club and Black Bear. And all we ask is that those 2 get their heads together and make sure that they're not having regattas in the same time and day. So they've done all that. So having said that, I would like to move the White Bear Racing Team ahead for approval. My motion.
second.
Can we have a motion and a second? And this is the White Bear Yacht Club racing.
Yeah, I went to the second one. I skipped that. I'll go back up to their
Okay.
dock. Sorry.
So we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay,
Okay, I'll get back on track here. White Bear Yacht Club, so that's the docking outside. No change from last year, other than a small change. The Washington County's decided that they're going to keep their boat there again, permanent on the lake. So, and it's going to be tucked around by the catamaran. So, I would like to motion for that dock to be approved.
Second?
motion and a second to approve the dock application from the White Bear Yacht Club. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Black Bear Racing, again, they have no conflict with White Bear Yacht Racing Team, so I move to approve.
Second?
A motion and a second to approve the Black Bear Yacht Racing Association application. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Next one, ESDA, that is on the Matamidi Beach, on that area. I will abstain from this vote, but there's no change from last year and no complaints on the dock from last year that I'm aware of. So I motion to approve.
Second? Excuse me, second?
Motion and a second to approve. And Alan, just as a, and so do we have enough people to vote if Mark abstains?
No, because technically he's here, so it is a vote, it's just a non-vote. So he doesn't not count as part of your group. But if you don't have enough ayes, you're kind of stuck.
Got it. So we could still take the vote and see where it goes.
Yeah, because presumably it'll be 5 ayes and 1 abstention.
Right.
And I assume, Mark, that that's due to your presence.
I belong to that lot association.
Exactly. So,
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Next, is, this is new to us, the Swell Wake Surf Open. So what it is, Swell is a company in Hugo over by Onika, and they make products for wakeboarding and skiing, water skiing, things like that, and distribute. They want to have this open. It's over a weekend. It meets our requirements for hours. It's going to be, they're right now looking at just off of Ramsey Beach and over on the Delwood side from, I guess, Ramsey Beach over that way, in between the reef, the rock wall reef there. The only thing I said was, the only thing we get sometimes are complaints for those boats have pretty loud stereos. So there might be sheriffs mulling around, but other than that, they're slow. They're pretty benign as long as they're not taken away shore. So I would move to approve. It's in June.
We don't have any paperwork on them?
No, he had just brought it
came in
tonight. Yeah, it just came in
The final
tonight.
paperwork just came in tonight, so.
It's
if
a
you want,
Manitou Days
we can
event
table
as
it.
well, is what it's a new Manitou Days event is what it's
Okay.
for. But,
And
yeah.
do we have all the insurance updated on?
Yes.
Okay.
The only thing I would say pending is, he said he'd drop off a check tomorrow.
Right.
We've not got paid, so I said it'd be pending your payment.
What is the payment for that?
50.
50.
Okay.
Hey, Mark, considering that we have time,
Yeah.
I think, so I'll raise the question, would it be appropriate to table this till our next meeting when we have the paperwork in?
Absolutely.
And everything, so that all the board members can see what's what? And I don't think that should delay them at all, the Swell folks, hey?
So I will motion to table that till the April meeting,
Do we need a motion for that?
or whatever we need to do.
Chair, it's not even on my agenda, so.
Yeah, I added it.
Understood.
Tonight, and so you're just leaving it on the table, yes, for next month.
Okay, so maybe Mark should just withdraw his motion.
Yes.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay?
Next one is carryover from last month, McCartney Estates. They have a change from last year. They're putting a new dock in a different configuration. Talked to the neighbors. They said, okay. The neighbors on the other side had a family tragedy and have not gotten back to us yet, but haven't said anything negative. So I would move to approve.
And this is one also that we don't have information in our packets, but it was requested, or it was
It was in the
carried
packet.
over from.
It was in the packet for last month and
Yeah,
then
from
carried
last
over.
month, right.
And I have it right now if anybody wants to see it.
They changed something, didn't they?
Yeah, they changed their dock configuration, so instead of going along the shore, they're going out.
Their neighbor died.
Yeah. Maybe I don't have McCartney Estates here. Thought I did. City.
And did the LUC review and approve the,
We did last month.
okay?
Thought I had it.
Are you looking for the McCartney ones, Mark?
Here we go.
Yes.
Because otherwise I have last year's and this year's here.
I don't know.
No, I
Do you have
don't.
this year's application? Yeah, you just bring it along.
Yeah. You can just pass it to Scott and pass it
Oh,
down.
sure.
It's,
Then you can see the difference. There's their last year's and this is this
Oh,
year's.
okay.
They're going to change their, build a new dock.
dock configuration.
So,
It'll be probably the last one.
And then do you want to see, this is the letter that we gave to the neighbors, letting them know that there were changes on.
That's okay. Thanks. I believe they didn't forge Marilyn's name.
No, no, and I actually spoke to her, so she knew
Did you not?
as well.
Neighbors because of a personal tragedy?
instead of doing.
We didn't
this,
hear
they're
back from
doing
Benzes.
No.
He died.
Yeah.
So you're just saying that they're the acquiesced?
This is what it was
Thinking they
like last
acquiesced
year.
to it?
Okay.
We never asked for anything. It's- They didn't, what our normal thing would be was to send,
Here we go, the new one, and this is the last year's.
better layout.
It is a better layout. So this is last year's, and it went pretty long along the shoreline, and then this one just goes out. And the reason that they're, the other thing is, this is all brand-new dock, and it's going to be built to suit, and they want to get the builder, if they don't get them rolling on it pretty soon, they're not going to be in time for open water. But no, last month, we thought it was a better situation than they currently have.
Looks that way.
And it definitely doesn't look like it would look like it would impact the Benzes less than what they have out there now. But,
Suzie, did you see this okay in camera?
yeah. Normally, what we would do is give a 2-week notice prior to the LUC meeting and say, you know, here's the meeting. And if they don't show up, they don't show up. We're not asking them if they approve or disapprove. It gives them the opportunity, if they disapprove over something, to come and say something about it. And even then, we can still approve it.
I think it's way better.
Yeah, it seems to take 18 feet less, or not 18, 17 feet. Yeah, that seems to be a good
Yeah,
idea.
they used to go all along the shoreline and end to end.
So Mark, did you make a motion to approve?
I did make a motion to.
Okay, but I don't, and I don't think we have a second. I'll second, I'm sorry?
I'll second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Anything else from Lake Utilization Committee, Mark?
No, that's complete. Thank you so much.
Okay. We're on to Lake Education Committee. Scott?
Yes, on last week ago, last Saturday, we had the annual cleanup. We actually had a record number of volunteers, and there was not a whole lot of stuff to be found just because of the snow. However, that did allow people to pretty much stick to the roadways and tracks out to the ice fishing areas, and they did find a bunch of stuff. They found some rather unusual stuff. There was a broken up porcelain toilet that somebody had left out on the ice.
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't think that's an ice fishing artifact that I'm aware of. But they also found an automobile alternator someone left out there, and a portable shelter, ice fishing shelter that was sort of ripped up, nylon kind of thing. So we're glad that they got all of that off the ice. And thanks to, there are photographs on our website. There were photographs in the paper last week. And we certainly thank the Boy Scouts for organizing it, and we thank the VFW for providing lunch for everyone. So next year's will be on March 7th, 2020. If you can think out that far. So that point, I'd also like to just quick update you on our anti-plastic campaign, which would involve offering signs to marinas and beaches and boat launches areas to advocate not leaving plastic junk in the lake. And I had contacted the MnDOT, Department of Transportation sign shop, and they do signs for organizations like government organizations like ours, and they're actually quite reasonable. We can get like 12 by 18 highway grade signs for only about $20 a piece. So I mean, if you had 30 of those, and I don't know how many we need, that'd be $600, definitely within our education budget. So what's going to happen next? I'm working with my daughter, the graphic designer, who just got back from Japan today. And when she has time, we'll work up a design as so that we can actually show it to the cities and marina owners and counties to find out how many of these signs they are willing to install. And then we will put the order in based on that. I'm hoping all of these units can mount the signs themselves. So that seems to be progressing. And finally, I wanted to mention, we just put something up on the website today, and this gets back to aquatic invasive species. There is a program that's being put out by the University of Minnesota to train people to spot invasive species. You can become a citizen scientist, so you can learn how to recognize that starry stonewort when it arrives. And it's all on the website, but there's workshops that are being held around the Twin Cities so you can be certified as an AIS spotter. It says, join a trained network of volunteers and be part of the solution. The threat of AIS continues to grow across Minnesota. There's a need for an organized statewide surveillance network of trained volunteers eager to make a difference. In partnership with the University of Minnesota Extension, we are filling that need with the AIS Detectors Program. So you can be an AIS detective. That's all on our website. I commend it to you, and that's all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, I'll make a comment on the verbiage on the signs.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's probably a little strong. You know, plastic is forever. Keep it out of our lake. You know, maybe we want to say please.
Say please.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it just we're a conservation district, and we're not. I don't know. I might be perceived a little different than just.
No, well, it's not. Well, I mean, there's already all kinds of laws in place against littering, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's not. We're not saying, you know, it's our
Moral duty to keep it out of the lake, or.
yeah. Well, we're advocating keeping it out of the lake as a conservation idea. I mean, we could consider, you know, how it could be worded.
Yes, I think the way that'll go, Cameron, and you help me, Scott, if I misspeak, is that Scott and his daughter, fortunately, who works at a very reasonable rate, thank you, will develop a concept for the sign and then bring that to the board for the board to review, and we can offer input at that point.
Yeah. Last time I passed out just an idea. I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, you could say please, but in a sense, I'm thinking we're trying to get, it's our lake, not just, so I don't really have a problem with that. Of course, yeah, I wrote it, so maybe I wouldn't have a problem.
But we'll have a chance to have further discussion on that before.
And I have gotten some very positive feedback. I've shown it to some people, and they say, well, that's right on.
Might it be helpful if we also have some containers at some of these sites to dispose of the plastic, to recycle it? So that people are, you know, not only are they motivated to not leave it out on the lake, they have a place to put it when they get back to shore.
I think you also want that, you know, it's not, you know, from our point of view, I think, you know, you definitely want to dispose of it or recycle it properly.
That's what I'm saying. Should we have containers available for that purpose?
You know, that might be more to chew off than we can.
Is there any place you would think of putting it that they don't have containers? Because I'm thinking, I know Bel Air has trash facilities, Matabidi Beach does,
Right.
the marina does, the boat launches do.
Yeah, and it might be something that so the way that this will likely progress is Scott will work to come up with a sign and bring that to the board, and then once that's approved, then Scott or Kim or someone will go to the cities or these areas where they could be placed and ask them if they're interested. And hopefully there will be a lot of interest. And we can also raise that point, because I think it's a good one, raise that point when we do that. The idea that, hey, if you put up this sign, it might also be valuable to have a container if you don't already have one, something like that. And, 'cause somebody then needs to be responsible for emptying that and this kind of thing, and that's probably
Yeah.
not something the board wants to take on.
And I would think, well, okay, so what are you talking about? The, beaches, which I think are covered. I mean, we could certainly ask them. Boat launches, at least, I know the Matoska one's got all kinds of stuff. And beaches, boat launches, and then marinas. Now, they would be private.
Private.
So, what they're doing, might be more of an issue.
But we can reach out to them and at least ask them, I guess.
Yeah,
if they're
we're gonna
interested.
have to talk, see, that might be the issue. They might not have the resources to put up signs either, so.
Okay, any other questions for Scott? Okay, well, I'll just say thank you, Scott, for your part in the lake cleanup. That's a really cool program, I think. Okay, so we're moving on to the treasurer's report, and Diane is not here, so I'll take this. And I'm going to make a motion to approve checks 4555 through 4561, noting that check 4559 was voided. So that's my motion.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That passes. So we're on to the board council report. Alan?
Did you have anything on the budgets, which was the other item of Diane's?
Well, Diane asked me to remove it, so on the final version, it's not there. Diane didn't want that
Sorry,
on
I'm
there.
looking at the online version, which must
Yeah,
have been
yeah,
before.
since
the
then,
extract.
Diane removed that, so.
Never mind. My report's going to be given by Alex Galwas tonight. No, I'm kidding. But I will introduce him. Alex is a first-year law student who I've been assigned through St. Thomas. They have a mentor program. And so he got lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, to get me. Alex lives in Matamidi, I believe.
And Delwood, actually.
Or Delwood, rather. And, well, you can introduce yourself. That's about all I really know about the young man, other than he's a hardworking first-year law student.
But, I guess that's all I really have to say. I'm just happy to observe and happy to be here. So.
Every year, we take our mentees out on a couple of what they call experiences during the year. And so my practice is varied enough that I like to take them to courts, and I like to take them to Inns of Courts and to a couple of municipal events. So you guys are lucky enough to be the municipal governance event for Alex this year.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, welcome to the meeting.
In other news, we're obviously kind of post-Ice House. I knock on wood one more year without having the sheriffs have to cite anyone, so a pretty well-behaved lake, which is not as common as you'd think. So very good patronage on the lake here. Nothing obviously has happened relative to any summer activity. I continue to work with the DNR over updating their files since we've kind of kicked the hornet's nest about having DNR water permits. It's caused them to reciprocally look at what they've got in their files regarding our customers that are licensed, so that's going pretty well. I was working, I think, with Kim. Did we ever get the EAW to Jen?
To what?
The results of our EAW to Jen at the DNR?
No,
Okay. Did we find them?
no.
Okay. That's relevant because apparently Docks of White Bear is looking to make a move to expand slightly, and so they were reviewing that application application, and if you guys remember, those who were here in 2009, we went through an environmental assessment worksheet process with Brian and with the docs, and so the DNR, even though that's kind of who promulgates it, didn't have a copy of the results and the negative findings that we made. So that's all part of their process to go through and at least approve the upper limit of those boats. So it's odd because I think he actually got more approval on this end for the boats, but didn't have that approval the other direction, in other words, from the DNR. So that's where that's at. So if you're wondering why we haven't seen an application, that's why. So, but beyond that, I would stand for any questions. Welcome aboard. Yeah.
Any questions?
And I would add one more thing.
Yep.
I was counting heads, and do we have a full complement now, Kim? Do we have a full 10?
No, we need someone to replace Brady.
And that's from Delwood? No.
No, is that where
Yep.
Brady was from?
Greg was Delwood.
Delwood. So we're short one
Yeah,
member.
we're short one.
9, and we got 5. I'm just doing the math for your dock association dock, and I think even with the abstention, you're still fine. So, anyway, now I'd stand for questions.
Any questions for Alan? Okay, thank you, Alan.
Thanks.
And item 9 on the agenda, the consent agenda. I will move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. And announcements, Kim?
Nope, I don't have any.
But can I raise the question, and I meant, Alan prompted this, there was one ice house that was late getting off?
Yes, a gentleman named Lanny sent us a email stating that he had found one sitting out there, but that same day, it was removed.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing from Kim. And so we're on to item 11. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.